Alrighty then. Welcome to the first recap of the New York State Championship. This is held here at Lake George. It was about, I got some traffic, always Worcester is a pain in the ass, but not quite 4 hours from Boston, about 3.5 perhaps. I drove in last night. I'm recording this the Saturday morning before my second round game. And, what can I say? I picked going to this tournament because, number one, I'd hoped my friend Ryan would join me. He did not. Number two, my fiance lives, her mom lives near here, actually. So we figured that we can kind of make a weekend of it where she would come with me and then go off with her mom, and I would stay at Lake George playing chess all weekend. So it was kind of like a nice two-time, you know? Number three, I looked at it, and it's very interesting. It doesn't draw a huge crowd. In fact, I think the open section, my section, has 40 people in it. And it's it cuts off where a lot of open sections are like, you know, quite strong. This one, the bracket is U1600 or so. So I looked at it, and at 1700, or I think I'm like 1750 now. There's still like a third of the players are a little bit weaker than me, which is good. I didn't want to enter a section where I'm like the top of it because I'm only playing down. And I didn't want to enter a section where I'm at the very bottom, where everyone is like considerably better. So these are the kind of tournaments I'm looking for, where I'm either in like towards anywhere between like the top 2/3 to bottom 1/3. You know, sort of in that bracket, that range is kind of what I'm hoping for my chess tournaments. With that in mind, it's a 5-round tournament. The time control is 80 minutes and it's 30-second delay, and it's sudden death. There's no bonus time at 40. So believe it or not, the Boylston games. Where, you know, that are an hour and a half, 90 minutes, with a 5-second increment, end up being, you know, let's say after 40 moves or so, you get another couple minutes, the other person as well, end up being up to 3 hours. These ones, with the 30 seconds and then the hour 20, actually are very similar time control. This is actually also apparently not FIDE rated. I was kind of hoping it was, but it's a CC tournament, Continental Chess Association. And, it ends up that this time control is incredibly similar to what I'm used to, my bread and butter, the Tuesday night. So, I'm trying to think if I should list anything out. Oh, yeah. The few other things, I was going to do this in a video, but this is as good a place as any, is I wanted to talk about my goals for 2026. We're already midway in the year, which is crazy. But for chess, I want these three things, and I think they're very reasonable. Number one, I want to cross the 1800 mark. I feel like that's my milestone for this year. It's not all about like just acquiring the rating. I do think I'm genuinely improving. I think that I, have played at an 1800 level for a while anyway. But I want to. It basically means where I am now, 1750-ish. That will mean something to me. That material level, popping in, passing 1800. That's goal number one. Goal number two is along the way. I want to beat a 2000 plus rated opponent. 2000 is where when somebody hits 2000, it's pretty rarefied air. It's hard. Doesn't mean all 2,000 plus players are that good. Many are not. But it's still quite a good barometer. It's quite a good achievement because, honestly, bottom line, if you hit that, you know what you're doing. Doesn't mean you're a master. Doesn't mean you are a superstar. But it means that you are, at the minimum, like, you can't be bad and hit 2,000. Like, that is not possible. And it's hard to win games against strong players, so I want to beat a 2,000 plus. Now, for the record, I think all of you know this. I have yet to play a single 2,000, so the only way I'm going to be able to beat a 2,000 player is if I play them and get the opportunity. Number three, and I don't think this is going to happen this year because it depends how many of these type of tournaments I'm going to play. And I think for big tournaments, I think I laid this out. I played the Boston Chess Congress at the very beginning of the year. I played the Boylston Spring Tournament, or that was the March one. That was a several-day tournament, and then this one. I probably, between now and the end of the year, will play one more big tournament. My hope, and I think I need 9 games, so it probably won't happen, is the third goal is to get a FIDE rating. FIDE ratings are generally a little bit less, you generally are a little bit lower FIDE than your USCF, by the tune of sometimes up to about 100 points. So if someone comes in with a FIDE rating of 1800, you can probably assume they're like 1900 USCF, etc., etc. Anyway, those are my 3 goals, and believe it or not, paired in round 1 against Stephen Taylor, I could achieve goal number 2 in one fell blow. And actually beating him would maybe even push my live rating right around 1800. So this was a golden opportunity. So the tournament as well, it's called they divide up a senior section. So the problem is in my section, the open, most of the adults who would be playing it's over 50, are instead in their own like little pocket championship, and that's open to anyone who's under 1900. Steven is, I think, about 70 or so, and he is 2100, as you can see. He's at his rating floor, which is a good sign for me. But Steve and I talked for a while after the game. Nice guy. I can talk a lot about him, but I'll kind of keep it brief. But the point is, Steven actually peaked. He was telling me about his journey, just shy of IM level. He was 23. He said his like FIDE. He said he was 2360 at his peak, or 2362 or something. And that he basically stopped when he went to the World Open. This was in like, I think he said 1989 or 1990, something like that. And he said he lost like every game. He fell, he said 60 or 70 points. And he realized once he lost all those games that it would take him years to claw back. And that was his goal, but he said he couldn't do it. So he also said at the time, this is interesting, a lot of the other titles, I don't know this is chess history, require a certain number of games, like FIDE games. And he wasn't playing enough of the big tournaments because he'd have to travel and he could only play sort of locally. So Steven is an untitled player, but he had the title playing strength for many, many years, 30 years or so. So all that said, obviously, Steven's a very strong player. He's quite past his peak. He basically told me his peak was about 35 years ago. He still plays fairly regularly. And this is like a perfect candidate where he's clearly a very strong player. He's not 2100 strength, but I don't like. I looked at his FIDE rating and whatnot. He's still around 1900 FIDE, which means he's still about 2000 USCF. And I think he played like it, as you guys will see. Moreover, Steven was really late to the game. I started the clock. I went up there. I laid the board out, and the tournament director actually came over to me because 10 minutes had passed. And he's like, "Oh, you're playing Taylor?" I said, "Yep." He said, "Don't worry about him. He's always late." I said, "Oh, okay." He said, "Yeah, he doesn't leave himself enough time to get to games." I kind of chuckled at that. And he said, "And, there was an accident on the highway. He's going to be late." I said, "Okay." And it's kind of nice to get a time advantage. In fact, he was 30 minutes late to the game. That is correct. 30 minutes late. So I had effectively time odds. He started his clock less than, he had 54 minutes when he showed up, for the record. Excuse me. It was also delayed. There's going to be a clock incident coming up, and I'll tell you guys about it as well. In the event, so he gets to the board. Again, Steven is, I think, around 70 or so. He was, apologetic that he was late. I said, I'm just happy you're here. I didn't want to show up, like, having driven all this time and have one of my games ruined to a forfeit. That would be awful. And I had played d4 30 minutes ago, and he immediately matches with d5. I was going to go through my lead chess. I'm actually kind of curious if I should, because I know that I played the wrong moves because I just hadn't reviewed this specific line. I'm going to get to that in a moment. Maybe we should actually get into the chess. But I really wanted to set the table with the New York State Championship, this tournament. I'm going to be playing 4 more games after this one. My opponent specifically, his style as well, is he not only did he give me a huge time advantage, but he was really slow on the clock. I know I shouldn't use the clock as a weapon too much, but I will say I did lean on it a little bit more than perhaps I ought to. Also, as all of you know, I played a lot of chess last week, and it's been hot, and I've been, blah, 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 all the stuff. When I got into the Tiki Bar, Tiki Resort, I can tell you all about this place. I'll maybe save that for the next video. I basically, I was pretty exhausted, right? I didn't eat dinner because I got in around 5, and the round started at 7, and the round obviously ends around 10 or so. So I was kind of in this in-between, not quite a fugue state, but of, being kind of hungry. I basically got into the place, I showered, I laid in bed, I watched actually a bit of Rush Hour. I just didn't want to look at chess before the game. In any event, I think, I was quite tired. I'd driven a lot. I don't really like driving long distances. And I will say from my mental perspective, I'm probably not the sharpest. It's actually why I'm filming this today, because after the game, we went over it. I came back to the room, and I basically passed out again. So I was up early this morning. The second round starts at 11. It's 8:45. I'll have plenty of time to do this video and get going. So, all right, let's get into the chess. He plays. It's a d4, d5. I go into a Jubava line. Oh, and funny comment. When we went over the analysis afterward, he looked at me and his first question. We talked about a lot of things, but he said, "Why did you play this stupid ass opening?" I'm like, I don't think it's that stupid. He's like, I've been caught by some of the tricks in it before. And I was like, well, that's probably why I play it, you know. Nonetheless, he plays what's funny, the a6 move, and he commented because I blitzed the first 6 moves or so. He said, he's like, man, you really seem to know this. And I was like, well, first off, I do know this, but also I said of the last 6 months, this very specific position has been played against me like 4 or 5 times. I've deeply analyzed this position because I was blitzing. He wasn't. He blitzed the first 4 moves after a6. I have e3 and then e6. And after e6, I immediately play knight f3. The idea here, I'm sure you guys can tell, is he opens up the dark square bishop. His idea is to trade these pieces off, so I want to stick the knight on e5. It's what allows the engine, the secondary threat of the Jobava, of pushing a g4, supporting by the knight, and opening up the queen, the diagonal. So that's kind of like the concept here. And I'm blitzing this. I mean, I know this. This is my bread and butter. And this is where I think after knight f3, he plays c5 quickly. He strikes in the middle. It's the best move. And this is where I couldn't remember my notes. Most of the time, you want your bishop on d3, but I was a little bit worried about b3, bishop d3, c4, and then just having to bring it back. And I wasn't sure. I couldn't remember if this position is good or bad for black. He said in the postcard that he was going to play that immediately. He said that he liked that. You know, he said because then he's also thinking he's coming b5 at tempo. I said I'm not that concerned because I haven't declared that I'm queenside castling, so it's not like I'm castling into that. But I actually just didn't remember what my I'm wondering if I should leak my my prep stuff. Also, I'm on the the resort. I'm on the resort Wi-Fi, and it's not great. I have I've studied a lot of stuff. I guess you guys can see this. I'm actually curious here. I'm just going to show this because at this point I've played this so much. E3, then the move generally is E6, which is the main move. My move is oh, I misplayed. I thought it's, as you guys can tell, I thought it was knight f3 to e5 and then g4. The right approach is g4 immediately. Ooh, well, that was my mistake. Well, I hadn't reviewed this in a while. Okay. Huh. Okay, so that's where I got confused. Okay, so I made some mistakes. I mean, this is why I hadn't reviewed this in a while. I kind of played the wrong sequencing. I thought it's important to block this, jump in, and then push g4, g5. But okay. And he plays c5. So basically, for a lot of these lines, this position is where they play c5, and that's where you ignore the threat and you just are able to push rather than having to develop, in these different places. So all right, so that's good to know. Hey, I need to review my lines. I'm used to most of the games. I told him this, and he said he had seen this. He doesn't like this for black. Is this move, and this is where you get the very quick. And this is literally what I played against Noah the day before this tournament, and I like that for white a lot. Anyway, once he plays c5, I wasn't sure. When he plays c5, this is where I do my first mini think. I spent 5 minutes. Okay, I do play the best move, actually. I could take. I thought takes, and there's really nothing for me. He has a big center. He's developed his piece with Tempe. And I thought I wanted on bishop d3, but I thought it was coming with tempo. So instead I played bishop e2, which looks like the best move. And it does seem like, and he, when he wasn't really joking. He's like, why do you play that stupid ass opening? But he's like, when we analyzed, we went to the tiki bar and we laid it out, like we were sitting on these, chairs. And I was basically making the moves for him. He's like, yeah, this doesn't look special for you at all. I'm like, yeah, it's equal, but I've kind of gotten what I wanted. He's like, oh, it's a terrible opening. So, which I thought was kind of funny because he followed up with a terrible opening with also, oh yeah, there's a lot of traps, some of which I've fallen into. So it's like, I don't know what to expect of an opening. I told him, I said, look, Steven, you're, actually he preferred Steve, I think. Well, I talked a lot about his name. He has 3 names. Anyway, he said, no, I said I wasn't expecting to win out of the opening against you. You're 2100. You know what I mean? Like no kidding. I'm not I would like to get something from the opening, but it doesn't mean I will. For the record, in this position, I thought after this I have to go back anyway, and I wasn't sure if locking the pawn chain like this was good for me or bad for me. And it looks like it's good for black, because he said he was going to immediately play b5 and just come and just start basically thrusting the pawns down. And yeah, like after move 8, the initiative has already turned to black. Anyway, I played bishop e2. It seemed like the best move. I mean, by the way, this is a case with computer rates that are good, where it was the top edge of the line there. But my idea here is I still want to split out. I'm further defending these squares. I want to develop my bishop. I'm not sure if I'm going king side or queen side, etc., etc. He plays knight c6, just a normal developing move. Can't really argue with that. And I decide this is where I need to just rip it and dip it. And the reason why is I looked at like takes, and there I can play g4, g5, and I have this wooden shield, which is exactly what I want. If he takes now, which is, by the way, what maybe he's going to do, it's an interesting situation. And if he like drops back or something, again, I can still take, and sort of get sort of the position I want. Sort of. Again, I kind of felt a little bit shaky. He plays the conservative, but probably best move, bishop e7. When we analyzed the opening, we didn't really do bishop d7 is better, apparently. Okay. Well, when he plays here, all right. Now computer likes my position a little bit more. Okay, cool. That's his first mistake of the game. And I start moving slowly now. When I say slowly, I'm now taking a few minutes because I'm kind of out of the opening, sort of. I realize I messed up a little bit. I dropped down, so I've used about, it looks like on move 8, but the last few moves I've moved a couple minutes. I've used about 20 minutes. And he's, by the way, the other key thing, remember, he gave me a huge time advantage. After move, I'm not kidding, after move 8, so after his next move, he's already used half his time of what he had left. He's down to 37 minutes. And again, I'm not trying to place it on the clock, but like when somebody is down to 30 minutes and they've only played, okay, he gets down to 30 minutes with only 10 moves played, that's obviously a factor going through my mind. So anyway, I play knight e5. He plays bishop e7. And now I evaluate the position. I think for a while, because I know that the idea is to go g4. It's g4, g5. We want to get h4. We want to attack. Maybe reposition my rook, kind of split him open there. And I think I was wedded to this because I knew this was the idea, but it wasn't in the right situation. And this is a case where when you don't remember your opening like perfectly, but you remember the ideas, that you misapply the ideas in the position. By the way, I was not considering going bishop takes, like that's the best move according to the computer. I knew I wanted to swing the knight wide, but I knew I couldn't put it here. For the record, he can never check me and scoop it up, because then I just play c3, which is what I want. And then I'm able to live with the knight, ideally on c5. It's a huge idea. Part of me was actually considering dc, with the idea that he just developed the bishop. This is typical in a lot of Queen's Gambit lines. Force them to then pick it up after you've made your move. But, whatevs. Instead, I just say I'm going to go for it. And I do think, practically speaking, g4... again, after I play this, he spent 10 minutes, from 46 minutes to 37 minutes, okay? Tanking here. And this is what I mean. He was responding slowly, because I'm putting a lot of pressure on him. I am trying to threaten g5. Obviously, if he jumps in, I take. We transform the position in a positive way. I'm looking to take, because then if he takes my queen, I control the d-file. And I think that this is going to be a very soft pawn for me to gooble and gobble. If he lets me, if he does something very passive, like drops back to g8, I do think I go h4 and h5, and my idea again is just to pressure. I thought castling was impossible for him given the speed of my pawns, but instead he takes, and it's interesting because I can't push. I thought g4 takes, and I'm just takes, and I thought that transformation was just good for him. I look at takes, and I realize takes, and this is what he was planning on playing, so I'm glad I saw this. Takes, queen b6. I could no longer defend this pawn. Maybe I can't drop the bishop. Maybe I have to trade that. I wasn't sure. So I played what I thought was the most clever line, and he didn't see this, and he's like, oh, it was very interesting, which is why he spent another, again, he dropped, after I played my move, he drops another 6 minutes, because I play knight takes. And the reason why is he can't take my knight, because I'm attacking his queen. And once he takes, which is what he has to do, I'm able to centralize my queen with queen takes on d4. So just so you guys can tell, after I play g4, after I play g4 and he takes the pawn, I should play again. I was less impressed with this move and then this move. And apparently here, I guess here I can still go takes, and white apparently is fine. But I guess they don't have this here kind of hitting both, because now you can go knight a4. So then after like b takes, transforming the position here, now I just continue with the g5. Okay, tricky stuff. Instead, when I took, he takes with the b pawn. Computer still prefers e takes, which maybe I should have. I thought centralizing my queen. My idea, and hopefully you guys can see this, was that I'm threatening g5, and then queen takes g7. And like again, that's a huge idea, where then with the pawn moving, I can go bishop h5. There's no pawn here, and I just have massive threat. I thought with the speed of my pawns, it's really challenging for him to castle into it. I thought his best move was c5 here. I'm actually curious what the computer says. I thought that he had to play c5 here. Yeah, c5 is the best move. In fact, in the recap, he said, he's like, yeah, I don't even know why I didn't play this move. And I said it was tricky because I was probably going to play up, but I thought there were a lot of lines where like the knight drops, but then I can maybe win the pawn, where I thought maybe I was going to slide my queen over and try to basically keep attacking him. I thought it was spicy. According to the computer, it's bad for me. It's already, black is already like -1. Which is funny, because over the board, I thought it was doing fine here. Like, I knew I didn't quite screw it up. I knew I got a position where I've sort of gotten these online before, but I haven't gotten this over the board yet. And as it turns out, I needed to play g4 earlier before I developed the knight. Good to know. But in any event, after queen takes d4, he spends, again, a little more time. He's down to 30 minutes only. I still have an hour. I've been thinking a bit, but he, remember, gave me the 30 minutes in the beginning. And he simply castles into it. I thought this move was impossible, because I thought then with the quick g5, h4, I'm getting exactly what I want. I wanted my bishop on d3, but nonetheless, castles is his second best move. And I told him, I said, I'm impressed. I thought there was a lot of danger to this. And he kind of laughed. He was an interesting character, I'm going to say that much. And he's like, no, there definitely was danger for me. He's like, I just thought I had to do it. Which is true. Like, at a certain point in chess, like when you make moves, there's always drawbacks with some moves. He said he thought he had to do it. He had to get the king castle, even though he's castling into the attack. And I applauded him for it, because the truth is, after we reach this position, c5 is still threatened. And now when I c5, like, move over, assuming again after, like, if I block my own queen, I'm kind of stuck here, and actually I might get my queen trapped. But without having the bishop on d3, I'm not actually threatening like an h7 mate. So I thought c5 was a renewed threat, and like this is where I thought move 10. I've already used a good amount of time. I thought this was a critical position for me, and I only used 6 minutes to think here, which is unfortunate, because I wouldn't say I had a loss of what to do. I'll tell you all my candidate moves. I thought I could play h4. I thought I could. He said he thought I was going to play h4. He said he thought h4 was the best move in this position, and it's good. It is the best move in the position. Okay, he said he thought I was going to. Oh, I play the best move. Cool. I ended up playing the best move. Look at that. All right, queenside castle. For the record, spoiler: I queenside castle, so I actually did play the best move. He thought I was going to play h4, which is not as good, but nonetheless, my candidate moves were h4, g5, a3, and the idea here is I thought this pin would be annoying. I thought that would be a useful move if I could afford it. I thought it's too slow to reroute the bishop now to d3, and I thought it might actually get my queen stuck, and then castles. Yeah, and when I worked through all of them, I realized that I've opened up the b file for him, but it's not so easy for him to stick a piece because of my dark square bishop control, so it wasn't that dangerous. Because he's removed my pawn, I no longer have this idea of knight a4, knight c5. Maybe I should have left up those arrows. They were kind of cool. And I thought I wanted to get my last piece into the game, because this rook is kind of doing something once I play h4, and I wanted to swing my other rook either behind my queen, where I'm lining up with his queen, or to like the f or g file. And I thought that was like where my pieces belonged. Again, it's funny because that is my best move, so well done me. But white is just worse here, and I didn't feel worse. I felt like I'm and this is what I said in the post cap to him, and he sort of agreed. I said, I don't know what happened this game because it felt like I had the initiative and I was kind of attacking you, and then all of a sudden I wasn't. And you guys are about to see that happen. And I like normally I think I have a good feel for when the tide turns, but as it turns out, the computer just likes his position a little bit more. Maybe the tide never turned. Maybe he was just a bit better and he just kind of leaned on me. Yeah, and c5. I was surprised he didn't play c5 last move. It's still strong this move, and black is just better. Black is -1, so I've clearly screwed up the opening. And he's played well. He's obviously diffused it. I mean, it's again, he hasn't played the top move every single time. It's like he knew the theory in and out, but he's playing very well. Which, somebody who is at his peak 2380 or 2370 or whatever it was, like, probably should expect it. So, oh, and by the way, I guess I'm going to just put this here as like a note in the video. We're, 25 minutes in? I've beaten some very strong players in Blitz. I've beaten IMs, I've beaten other title players, even over the board, where I've beaten NMs. And I haven't even played that much Blitz over the board. I know I can beat somebody who's, again, 2,000 plus, or in this case, 2,100. However, I also know, like, I'm practical, that they're favored to beat me. So I think that if somebody was a certain rating, like, really high, I would probably mentally go in there saying, okay, it's just a matter of time before they're going to beat me, and I probably wouldn't be actively trying to win. Against this guy, in this kind of rating, I didn't think about his rating at all during the game. I thought I was making the objective best move, or at least I was trying to, and my goal was to be aggressive, like to win. Like I wasn't just making moves to trade off pieces. So I think that's a bit bears saying. I think I've said this is with anyone in Boylston, as far as all the ratings of people who regularly play, I'm going to try to beat everybody. This guy I'm going to try to beat him too. I think at a certain rating that's probably fairly intimidating and daunting, I won't feel that way. But I've beaten IMs, you know what I mean? Like never beaten a GM, by the way, in Blitz or anything like that. I have not played many, of course, but I have a what's the opposite of unbeaten? An unwon record against GMs. But I have played a couple. You know what I'm saying? So like I've gotten to that point in Blitz at least. Of course, not over the board. So what I'm trying to say is I have to remind myself that on average they make great moves and they make the best move very often. But they are human. They make mistakes. They don't see everything. They're not a computer. And then I'm able to win. And I think that's an important psychological factor. Yeah, and even against this guy, like playing the clock to an extent, pushing him a little bit, putting him under pressure, it was going through my mind. Because the reason why I say that is up through this game at this point, I thought he had played very well. I thought maybe he was going to play the early c5, but he plays queen a5. And it's funny, I know this is a bad move, okay? Like, I know this is wrong. It's not like a huge mistake, but it's wrong. And the reason it's wrong, I'll tell you, like, again, I can't tell you from, like, the computer perspective, but here, he wants to storm me. He wants to attack me. I've queenside castled. Moving the queen here, like, yes, it prevents knight a4, I suppose, but it doesn't renew any threat. He could have played c5 anyway. It's not like he needed to over-support it. He's blocking his a-pawn, so he's not necessarily any faster to get, like, rook b8 in. I'm still taking it away, by the way. And so, if anything, it puts his queen off sides. Maybe he's, getting it out from the rook. Maybe he's just developing it in a certain way. I don't know, but I knew that this was a bad move. I just wasn't sure how to exploit it right away. And so when he plays queen a5, I think to myself, I'm like, all right, his queen is a bit off sides. Like, what am I noticing? What can I take advantage of? I spent 5 minutes here. And I'm noticing that he's attacking me, but his pawns are slow because I kind of traded and moved there. Yes, he has the open file, but he's not really able to lean on it, lean on me. Well, I play g5. I say it's time. Like, I calculated g5, playing the knight back, and like h4, h5. Like, let's go. I also thought in this position, actually in this position as well, and this is what I was talking about the psychological factor. I knew I could, in a lot of lines, not here, play maybe here. I was even considering a move such as queen a4. And the reason why is I thought this transformation, with my knight getting the jumpy, was probably pretty solid for me as well. As it turns out, computer puts it basically as equals, equals. But I was considering kind of killing the game to an extent like this and going for from a dynamic position to somewhat of a dry position where I thought with my fairly active, bishops, knight jumping on through and then open lines, that I even thought I was still fine. Again, computer puts this as absolutely nothing, but I was considering a move like that. Oh, but instead I searched for it. I play the best move. G5 is the best move. Cool. And I thought it was time to go for it. That like basically the thinking here. So with the playing the best move here. Now they're saying H4 is the best move. Okay, screw you, computer. I was looking at both of those. I wasn't sure the sequencing. I thought I could attack him first and then play H4 for the record. Is basically, and for the record, I thought that in a lot of lines, if he then pushes, I always have the bailout option of Queen A4. So after G5, I want to just get after him. My hope and dream is to play H4, H5, leverage the, basically the H7 pawn. Maybe, especially when I get his queen out of there, I was thinking about these like bishop H5 ideas, sort of bearing down. And I thought that I'm like, again, I'm in there, I'm in there. But now is where Stefan plays. I wrote down E5. He did not play E5 here. Maybe C5. Oh no, C5. My E's and C's look alike. Finally, he plays C5, and this is where. By the way, he spent. Okay, I'm telling you about clock usage. He was down to 30 minutes here. He spent 10 minutes in this position. I think it's a very tricky position. Okay. He goes down to 19 minutes, actually like 18 minutes and 55 seconds or so. I think C5 has to be played here, I think, personally. Apparently knight D7 to prepare it, and also moving it is fine, but C5 is what he played. He plays C5 on me. And I was really thinking about where to move my queen, and on his time, the 10 minutes, I was thinking long and hard, and what are my candidate moves? I could bail out. I could bail in. I could play passively. I can shore up a renewed threat. At this position, I thought if I play Queen A4, that I was hunting for a draw. Okay? I'll show you what I played first, because it always is worth doing. I drop all the way back here, but let me show you the lines. I thought if I play Queen A4, takes, playing here, I thought we're just hunting for a draw. If anything, I actually thought in this position, E5 is coming with force. Like I think H4 is mandatory here, and I actually thought he might be a little better. I'm wrong here. Okay, I'm just wrong all along. H4 is one of the best moves. I would have played H4 here for the record. Yeah, I would have played H4, and I thought this was just dry, and that after he develops, he has everything going on, kind of what he wants, and it is what it is. I thought if I moved up that there were a lot of positions where I was getting in trouble to this move. I kept looking at this and I couldn't tell what to do, because if I dive in to go trade, I then dislodge my support of my G-pawn and he's able to take. I actually didn't even think that was bad, but I thought with queens off, this was no longer dangerous for him, even though I get the open file, so I didn't want to sack the pawn. So I didn't see what I should do in this situation. Yeah, and the computer says this is quite bad for me. Yeah, because my best line would have been this, and again after takes, bishop takes, I'm down a pawn. I actually do think I have some compensation for it, but only some. So I didn't want to go into this. So I eliminated bailing in, as I put it. I eliminated bailing out because I didn't want to be passive, although that is the best move. It is just zeros. And I eliminated this move, because I thought that he could literally just put the clamps on me if he wants. Yeah, excuse me, not here. I thought this, well, anyway, once he plays here, I thought that these two moves come with tempi, and I'm just in trouble again. So nonetheless, I played what I thought was the move that keeps the pieces on. Once he plays knight d7, it's pretty mandatory. This is where I was thinking for 2 minutes, okay? And I assumed that e5 was coming with force to attack my bishop, dislodge it, and when I move, he then takes the pawn. So I thought now I finally need to support the pawn with h4, and I thought I could play h4, and maybe I can look for g6. Basically, I need to get these pawns attacking. Like, this is what I mean. I thought I had yeah. I wanted to play king b1. King b1 would have been the better move, maybe. No, I played the best move. Yeah, king b1 is the other move I was thinking of. Anyway, I play h4, and on his time, as soon as I played h4, at first I realized, or I thought, that I was in a lot of trouble. He spends 5 minutes, it gets down to just 14 minutes, and he plays bishop e7. I didn't think this was good at first, but then I realized, oh shit, d4 is coming, and the new threat is the discovery on my rook. But the problem is, first off, I can't move this knight right now, because I think he crashes in, he has mate threats. That's a problem. That's why I needed to play like king b1 at a certain time. I don't know if I ever had the time to play it. And I also saw that he has this e5, d4, and then after takes, he's hitting my knight, and then if I move it wherever, he crashes down, or he trades, whatever. But then I got very excited because I started calculating that if he plays e5, and fantastic tactic, that I have an in-between move, and I kept looking at knight takes on d5. The reason why is the knight here is attacking the e7 bishop with check. And the problem with all those lines is I knew that he can go trade. So I kind of wanted my king on b1 so I can threaten knight takes d5. Nonetheless, when he plays bishop b7 very quickly, I play rook hg1. I'm thinking it's getting it off the diagonal. I'm preparing to, push. I thought I needed to, this was the active square. And on his time, where he gets down to, oh my god, I'm not kidding. He was at 14 minutes. He goes down to 5 minutes. We've played 15. We've played 15 moves, and he's down to 5 minutes on this clock. I've never had someone have this much time pressure this early in any of my games before. It definitely was a factor in my follow-up moves. And the whole time, and we went over this in the post-gap because he saw this too. I mean, he's a good player. He saw this because he plays c4, which was shocking. For the record, I kept calculating e5, knight takes d5. I figured queen takes, queen is forced, because otherwise I win as queen, obviously. I have to take, because it's with check. And I'm hitting this, which would be check, so he doesn't have time to take my bishop. And after bishop takes a knight, I have rook takes bishop. And if he goes pawn takes bishop, boom, I go rook takes knight. I'm hitting his bishop. He can't move here. He can't move here. Only move back here, and I literally can go here. And I assume this was just winning for me, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, this is winning for me. And if he does, and if he tries to just, the other key thing is if he just tries to move the knight to attack my rook, I have this move. Not only hitting the bishop, but also taking the pawn that's attacking my bishop. And I saw all this, and I got incredibly excited. Because it seemed like in this position that e5 was the right way forward. But I looked at it, and I wanted him. I kept thinking to myself, please play e5, please play e5, because I saw the tactical defense, and I'm positive I'm winning after this move. Yeah, I'm winning after this move. And I saw this, and I was calculating. I was so happy, and I spent, when he goes down to 5 minutes, I thought he was calculating the same thing, like looking at it, and that's why, to my shock, he plays c4, and he plays this move, and I was like, what the fuck? I'm like, what are you doing, bro? What is this move? And it's a bad move, sort of. Unfortunately. And he kind of laughed after the game. He's like, yeah, I had a feeling you'd do that. I spend 6 minutes. I go down from 49 to 43. Half of it is I want to use some time, but I don't want to use that much and give him a ton of time. I kind of want to play on his clock. But I wasn't sure. And I was like, at first I was like, okay, what can I do here? And the first thing that pops in my mind, I hope that this pops into all of your guys' minds, is I can go bishop takes pawn. And the reason why is he can't go pawn takes, because then I go queen takes knight. I'll have one a pawn, and my queen's super active, where I'm hitting both pieces. I think black is lost. And I was trying to think of all my other moves that I could make. I didn't like e4. Computer's suggesting it, because I thought after e4, he could play e5. And then I thought once I drop my bishop, he then plays d4. And I didn't see... Because I see on the computer here that my best move is e4, actually. But I'm just telling you what I saw. I saw e4. Why does this move not work? Oh, because I still have the same tactic. Where this opens up. So now he has to go take. And then he has to go bishop takes. So it's the same tactic, and I still get this. And then again, if he plays here, I go here, and I'm just winning. So e5 works. Excuse me, e4 works for the same reason that he can't really play e5. And apparently that's the move in this position. I was also considering h5, but I thought it was too slow. I eliminated h5 because I just thought it was too slow. Apparently it would have been decent, and I did consider king b1 to have a renewed threat of knight takes pawn. I didn't think it actually, for the record, I didn't think this would work because I thought after king b1, like let's say he makes a random move, okay? What's a random move? Something like this. This isn't even that random. Well, that's a bad move. Maybe there's not a million good moves for him. Yeah, they want him to move the bishop off of the checking. But for example, let's just say he plays this move, which is something similar to what he does. And it's not the best move in the position, but it's good. I thought I'm not really threatening these because he can just take. Yeah, he can just go queen takes. So I guess they're saying I should just move my king over because it's just a more comfortable defensive square. And it's just a game. Game goes on. I need to find e4. As you guys can tell, though, I got over-eager. And I fell victim because he was laughing. He's like, I just had a feeling you were gonna see this tactic and take it. He's like, but I don't think it's good for you. I think it's a really good pawn sacrifice for me. And kudos to him. You know, when he had no time left finding this, I told him, I said, well, what am I supposed to do? Like, you know, I right now, if I let this pawn chain exist, my light square bishop is trapped. It's like trash, really. And he has like a spatial advantage. So I thought I had to take. I'm wrong, but I took. And again, everything I calculated with takes lost. I thought I was rerouting my bishop to b3 because in a lot of lines, remember the a2 pawn is soft to like queen takes. And he immediately, and again, he had played slowly the entire game, but the next few moves he plays immediately. He kind of worked them through, and he was down to 4 minutes, but you'll see what happens. He plays rook fc8, and now I do another thing. I spend 6 more minutes. I'm still over 30 minutes, but I am taking more time. And I keep trying to make knight takes and bishop takes work. I end up playing back for the record, which was wrong. That's too passive. I know my best move is well, actually, okay, maybe it is the best move. Okay, now they like the sack. And the problem is I kept trying to make these moves work, but they, like, at the end of the day, he's up a piece, I'm up 3 pawns. I told him I was looking at this position like very seriously, and he's like, no, this is terrible for white, and it's not terrible for white. I was thinking about going into this. I also was looking at going knight takes first. Yeah, this is the other thing I was looking at. I didn't know if it changed anything. Here, like, I'm hitting the rook and then takes. I didn't think it did change anything. At the end of the position, basically, I couldn't find anything, like, as far as move ordering between the two, and that's what I was calculating. And after rook takes, I really evaluated this position, and I thought that it was interesting. I thought knight b6 would be forced because I'm hitting it. Yeah, and then after a move such as rook d3, which is probably what I'd play, game goes on. I have a lot of pawns, but I'm not sure I get them rolling. And he said he's like, oh, this is lost for white. When we talked about this briefly after the game. Again, it's not, like, this is a playable position, but at the end of the day, I opted not to go into that. Instead, we get here. And the funny thing is, he has to be really accurate to maintain an advantage, and it's a very small advantage. Unfortunately, his moves are very natural and obvious. I knew they were coming, and yeah, and I'm going to show you what happens. So he plays bishop b4. It's the best move, and it's obvious. He has the super pin. He's got 1 attacker, 2 attacker, 3 attackers. I have 1 defender, 2 defenders. I have no way of defending because I can't get this bishop up here. It's taken away by the knight. So after 17 moves, I'm down to 29 minutes. He's down below 4 minutes, okay? Yeah, at this point, I didn't see the threat. I'm going to be honest. I thought every time I calculated bishop takes, pawn takes, and maybe rook takes or queen takes. And I thought that these positions after trade were just equal. And I was upset at myself because I thought that I had something going, but I evaluated this as equal. Unfortunately, I missed the real threat. And hopefully you guys see this. It's tricky. It will score brilliant. Is he's not threatening bishop takes, he's threatening rook takes. And I missed that completely. Beautiful sequence by my opponent. He's down below 4 minutes. And I thought of playing queen d4, that I need to take away, e5, and then I can maybe, again, play bishop e5, etc., to then, like, basically, I thought in this line, I'm taking this away. I'm kind of forcing the trade. Takes. I wonder if rook takes is a thing here. Yeah, it still works here. Right? I mean, aren't I just screwed here? No. Oh, because in this position, I can play queen a4, blocking the check, and then the mate here. Ah, that's the difference. That's the subtlety of this position. Nonetheless, I miss rook takes and how freaking strong it is. And instead, I look at this position. I don't see how moving my queen off the pin really helps me. I thought that bishop takes and it was just equal. I did consider king b1, but I thought that after king b1, he can just go. I mean, apparently he can go rook takes anyway. But I thought, again, I thought it was bishop takes, and like we get this position, which is good for him, of course. In fact, the computer doesn't even want him to take right away. They want to just go like, just jump in. And I saw all these positions. And my alarm bells didn't ring because I evaluated all this stuff as equals. So I thought rather than moving here or moving there, which were two original moves, I thought I needed to attack him. I needed to break him up, and I play what is ultimately a game-losing mistake, h5. Because, as you guys can tell, he does not go bishop takes, which is what I wanted, and instead he scores the brilliant rook takes c3. And as soon as rook takes c3 is played, he is down to 3 minutes. I have 29. I realize I'm screwed here, like absolutely screwed. He just won a piece, and I'm not sure how to recover from this. The computer is suggesting g6, but the problem I saw with g6 is he can literally just take my... I saw he could just take my piece. Like, I just start losing pieces left and right. Yeah, not good. Not good, Rob. I thought I had to accept, and obviously I'm just lost at this point. Computer's best defense is g6, takes, then apparently d4? Not understanding why. Well, this is still quite horrible, so I don't know. I mean, this is horrible. Oh, this is interesting, though. All right, well, this is, yeah, horrible. All right, in any event, let's go back. After the brilliant, I take, and you guys can tell that, like, this game is pretty much over now. It doesn't matter that he's down to 2 minutes. In fact, what ends up happening is after b takes c3, he plays bishop takes c3. The threat is checkmate. I'm losing my queen. I decided that it's worth playing on because he's down to 2 minutes. Number one, he had sacrificed the exchange, so technically I'm up 2 points of material right now. When I sack back, I've won in blitz in worse positions, I'll say, but not all that often. But oddly enough, he stops the clock. He's like, oh, the delay is wrong. And again, I like this guy. We had a really nice post cap, so this is not impugning him. And he apologized for this afterward. I was like, what? So I was like, okay, we can call the arbiter. He bought himself, like, again, he's down to 2 minutes. He plays super slowly. So we call the arbiter over, and I had set the clock. And again, the only reason why I'm not offended or upset is because this is a different time control than what I'm used to. So it was possible. I have set clocks wrong before. So I was like, maybe there's a chance that he's right. But he's like, my clock, I wasn't getting the delay. So like we call the arbiter over, we write down the time. I think it actually benefited Steve. I think he gave him an extra minute by accident or something. I'd written down my time, but I didn't write down his, and none of us remembered his exact time count. he goes through the thing, and Steve is like, I just need to know, was the delay on? And the guy confirmed that, yes, my clock that I had set waiting for him was completely right. And he basically pulls this little stunt. Now, do I think that this was angle shooting? I'm going to be honest, I don't. This guy was pretty genuine. I think that he got into the time pressure. But this whole disturbance, and like this is a winning position, but he is down to 2 minutes. It bought him like 5 minutes of a stopped clock. Maybe slightly more, where he could actually think about how to put the finishing touches. Am I salty over this? Not really. I'm pretty lost here, but like the only chance I have is playing on the clock, and he pulls the shit basically. He apologized after the game as well. He's like, I just really didn't think that the delay was on. I was like, okay, buddy. So am I upset about this? Not really, but it is worth at least pointing out. So he pulls this bullshit basically, and stops the clock. He gets like 6 minutes to think in this position while like the arbiter is going through the clock, double checking that I did everything right, which I did, etc., etc. So when we resume the clock, I have to think of a move. He's obviously threatening to check me and mate me. I either need to take or I need to take his queen out. I feel like I play the more clever move, and I'm just basically just trying to play for the clock here. There's a 30-second delay. That's a long time. I play bishop d6. He blocks. And I realize that there's like not much I can do here. Like I am going to have to take one of these pieces. Apparently I should take with a queen and try to leave these pieces on. But I take. He takes. I mean, he's being very annoying here. I actually play king b1, forcing him to take me now, which he does. I take. And we arrive at this position where I've written down he's below 2 minutes, or maybe, no. He finished the game with 2:21 on the clock exactly, because we played like 10 more moves. He made every move within 30 seconds. So when I finally resigned the game, and obviously I will, I realized that maybe I carved off like 1 or 2 seconds that I just was not going to be able to flag this guy. So there was no point in playing on. But I'll still make I've written down through move like 30 or so, and then I stopped writing moves for a couple, and then I did resign the game because he was also just like trading off pieces too easily. So I'll show you how the rest of the game went. After rook takes on, what move are we on? We're on 23. Rook takes. We have a5. I play a4. He plays bishop c6. I play g6. He plays bishop takes a4. I play g takes, check, check. He takes with the king. I play h6. I'm just trying to generate anything I can. He plays bishop takes bishop. I play rook check. He plays... I don't think he played up. I think he played back. No, he plays up. And this position, yeah, I play c takes. He plays rook over. I try to just cling. I know like these moves are coming. I'm just very screwed here. He didn't play this move immediately. I think he played this move first. Yeah, he plays the pawn here, and I think this is a good spot as any to call. We basically I resign when I realize that we're trading the pieces. That if I go takes, he's getting his queen in. I have no threat. I don't even have time to take the pawn, and that's going to be the game. Let's add this. Let's create a new collection. Let's call this the New York State Championship. And he beat me. It was a good challenge. I don't think I played great. I missed his brilliant. I think he played very well. I don't think I played badly. I think I messed up I messed myself up a little bit. When I did this originally, he was 90%. I was just over 80%. So maybe, you know what? Let's actually make a couple more moves. Just for the accuracy perspective, because like, you know, we did make a few more moves. So like, you know, give me a break here. Takes. What did I do? I mean, again, I resigned here. So like this is like the game ended here. So like it really doesn't matter, but sure. The reason is I want to be accurate. When I very quickly went over this, because I was curious where my mistakes were, and it was, you know, a few mistakes for sure. Yeah. All right, whatever. It is what it is. That's the game. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It was a good first round. Good experience. I don't even think I really had my chances. I didn't. There we go. That seems about right. I didn't really have my chances. He just kind of beat me. He beat me. My next game is in an hour and a half. I'm going to probably take it easy and wish me luck. I looked at it and, like, it was actually crazy. The first round, every single favorite won, except I think there was one draw. Every other favorite, and there were, like, I don't know how many people. There's 30 people. I don't think all of them are playing the 3-day. I think there were at least 10 boards, though, because I was on board 8. And, like, every favorite won. It's crazy, actually. All right, let me do this. Let me make sure that I've added that black one. Let me save that. Cool. All right, have a good one, everybody. I'll check in with y'all later. Bye.